Good to be with you. I'm Tony DeCopel. The breaking news right now. Deadly outbreak. The virus on board that cruise ship may be spreading person to person. What health officials are now saying after 3 have died and 4 others are sick. Tonight, more than 140 people still on board, including 17 Americans, and the potential for months of quarantine. What happens next? Also developing tonight, the president under pressure, rising gas prices and plummeting public support as the administration declares round 1 with Iran is over.
Epic fury as the president notified Congress. We're done with that stage of it. We achieved the objectives of that operation.
Breaking tonight, a near close call with 2 planes at JFK Airport in New York City just days after that United Airlines jet hit a delivery truck. The new video tonight, Chris Van Cleve tracking it all. A spring snowstorm and severe weather threat. Rob Marciano with what you need to know tonight. And the good stuff on this Teacher Appreciation Day, when a 3rd grader lost the music at her school talent show. Miss Frank didn't miss a beat.
This girl is on fire!
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel.
And good evening. What began as a cruise of a lifetime, a weeks-long luxury journey to the edge of the Southern Ocean, has instead turned into a major medical mystery and an international crisis tonight. 3 people are dead, 4 more are ill, and nearly 150 others stranded on board the ship, where they will stay potentially for months until investigators can clear them to get off. For now, medical workers seen here boarding the ship in full protective gear are telling people to stay in their cabins as they zero in on a potential cause, a rare form of the hantavirus believed to have spread person to person on board the ship. Tom Hansen is tracking this story for us. Tom, good evening. So many questions. What are you learning?
Hey there, Tony. Good evening to you. Well, this cruise liner offered passengers a chance to stop at remote, untouched locations, regions where hantavirus is also common in the wildlife. And now the World Health Organization tells CBS News the infections could have possibly started during one of those nature excursions. Tonight, the 3 remaining passengers showing symptoms believed to be linked to the deadly hantavirus are expected to be airlifted off the MV Hondias. The Spanish government says the ship, with 147 passengers on board, could sail to the nearby Canary Islands for a full disinfection.
There are no additional symptomatic people on board. That said, the situation is being closely monitored.
New video shows officials from the World Health Organization boarding the ship in PPE, there to monitor for any new cases. Communal spaces otherwise sit empty as passengers enter their 3rd night in quarantine. According to the company managing the cruise, so far 7 passengers have fallen ill. 3 of those passengers have died, and another was hospitalized in South Africa, all of them suspected of having the hantavirus. Health officials believe the passengers were infected off the ship, which made several stops on islands up the South American coast. Symptoms can take up to a month to show up.
What our working assumption is that it is the Andes virus. It could not be, but we're assuming that it is until we determined otherwise.
The Andes strain of hantavirus can spread from person to person and is only found in regions of South America. The Dutch cruise liner left Argentina on April 1st and has been moored off the West African island of Cape Verde since Sunday. The virus is most commonly spread through exposure to rodent droppings, but a representative for the World Health Organization on Cape Verde tells CBS News no rodents have been found on the ship, pointing to traps on board the vessel that appear untouched. Medical experts believe the risks are low for the outbreak to spread.
How big of a concern is this for the global community?
The potential to spread beyond an outbreak is very small.
And the voyage to the Canary Islands is expected to take 3 to 4 days. Health officials will decide if further quarantine is necessary. And if that's the case, Tony, a WHO official says the quarantine could last for up to 2 months.
It's a long time. Tom, thank you very much. We have new video tonight of that United Airlines jet clipping a delivery truck as it came in for a landing on Sunday in Newark, New Jersey. It happened on one of the busiest stretches of highway in the country. Senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is at the airport with more.
Dramatic new video appears to show the moment United Flight 169 struck a light pole and a tractor trailer on the New Jersey Turnpike while landing at Newark Airport Sunday. It's a new view of the accident captured on the dash cam of Warren Bordley's truck. The flight was coming in dangerously low from Venice, Italy, with 231 people on board. Watch again in slow motion. You can see what appears to be the landing gear just before impact. Bordley suffered minor injuries and is now home in Baltimore recovering. His father, Warren.
Out of all the things in the world, a plane, you can't prepare for that.
Police say the light pole also hit an SUV. Look closely, you can see the bent pole here. The plane was landing amid gusty winds on the shortest of Newark's 3 runways.
They felt something over the threshold, and there's a hole in the side of the airplane.
New pictures show some of the damage from the collision, including that hole in the plane and marks on the landing gear, as well as the busted windshield of the truck.
It appeared to be nothing short of a miracle to me that he even survived it.
Now, Bordley's attorney says his client is still in physical pain, but also dealing with the emotional shock of, getting hit by a plane. Now, the NTSB says it has interviewed the flight crew. Investigators will look at pilot action, but also if that wind played any factor in this accident, Tony.
And Chris, we got word late today of a different incident near New York's JFK Airport. What can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, this happened last night. A Delta Connection regional jet was on final approach when a single-engine small plane like a Cessna essentially crossed over the top of it by about 500 feet before turning in to land on another runway at JFK. In this case, air traffic controllers were speaking to both planes. The pilots saw each other, but it did generate a traffic warning to the airline pilots. The FAA says there was no loss of separation in this incident.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. To the war with Iran now. The ceasefire still officially holding despite attacks over the past 24 hours and despite still very limited movement through the Strait of Hormuz. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said today the offensive stage of the war is over, but the U.S. military is now focused on defense in the form of breaking Iran's blockade and its hold on the global economy. Senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams has more tonight from Tel Aviv.
We have established a powerful red, white, and blue dome over the strait.
The Pentagon says 15,000 American service members are involved in Project Freedom, which has seen 2 American-flagged commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz safely.
American destroyers are on station, supported by hundreds of fighter jets, helicopters, drones, and surveillance aircraft.
More than 1,500 ships are thought to remain stranded. The Iranian regime claims it still controls the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's foreign minister referred to Project Freedom today as Project Deadlock.
This is really a classic question of chicken here and who will blink first.
Grant Rumley is a former Middle East advisor at the Pentagon.
Do you think that the U.S. military has effectively ended the de facto Iranian blockade of the Strait of Hormuz?
No, I don't think so. The U.S. can block 9 out of 10 shots, but if one of those Iranian vessels gets through and scores a hit, it has a large and disproportionate symbolic effect.
The U.S. says Iran has attempted to disrupt its operation in the Strait of Hormuz with cruise missiles, drones and boats. But President Trump and other American officials said today that the ceasefire with Iran is still holding. Tony.
Holly, thank you very much. Iran's leverage depends on President Trump feeling political pressure at home, and unfortunately that pressure is very real. Gas prices are up and support for the war is not. With the midterm election now 6 months away, Vice President J.D. Vance is on the campaign trail tonight in Iowa. Senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe is there.
President Trump today said rising gas prices caused by his decision to attack Iran could be worse, and he argued it's worth it.
I also thought oil would go up to 200, 250, maybe 300. And I know it would be short term, but I thought it would go. I looked today, it's like at 102. And that's a very small price to pay for getting rid of a nuclear weapon from people that are really mentally deranged.
With the war sending the president's poll numbers falling and the midterms under 6 months away, the White House today sent Vice President J.D. Vance on a Midwestern swing to rally voters, many of whom have seen gas prices climb across the region.
It's terrible, that's for sure. For a medium.
Iowa farmers like Aaron Lehman have taken several hits. First, tariffs, which shrunk global markets for Iowa corn, soybeans, and livestock. Then, the war with Iran caused the price of diesel and fertilizer to jump.
So how's business?
Business is rough. Almost every farmer in Iowa will tell you that they've had difficult times.
Lehman says recent tariff relief checks helped, but they weren't enough to cover rising costs.
So when this White House says it's the best friend a farmer has ever had, you say?
That doesn't say much about my friends, because people are out here hurting.
Josh Turek, four-time Paralympic basketball player who we shot hoops with today, is a Democratic Senate hopeful who thinks the war's impact on the economy could help swing the state back to blue.
I think Iowa's absolutely in play. I think the polling indicates that as well.
And of course, we can't ignore the fact we're with the vice president at a campaign-style event in Iowa, one of the states that goes early when it comes time to pick presidents. But the VP's team insists right now he's just focused on getting fellow Republicans elected this November. Tony?
All right, Ed, thank you very much. The Coast Guard tonight is asking for the public's help in the search for a Michigan woman who disappeared last month in the Bahamas. Lynette Hooker's husband, Brian Hooker, says she fell overboard from a small boat as they returned to their yacht. He's been questioned but not charged. Well, today, officials released 2 grainy photos of a sailboat they say may have been anchored nearby. They want to talk to the owner of that boat. Colorado is getting hit with an unusually heavy amount of snow for this time of year, and tonight's baseball game between the Rockies and my New York Mets is postponed, likely delaying another Mets loss as Denver is under a winter storm warning. Here's meteorologist Rob Marciano.
It was weather whiplash in the Colorado mountains today. After days of summer-like temperatures, heavy snow.
Whoa, slow, man.
The late spring storm could bring as much as 2 feet to places like Estes Park, west of Boulder. And with the snow piling up into Wednesday, commuters are being warned of the slick and dangerous roads. And the snow's heavy, so it could cause broken tree limbs and downed power lines. The weather also doing a 180 outside of Chicago late Monday. When hail started to fall, it was almost 80 degrees. Farther south outside Memphis, torrential rainfall and pea-sized hail is a prelude of more severe weather yet to come.
And that could very well come tonight. That's part of the reason that we expect to see some severe weather watch boxes go up a little bit later on. So let's get the maps and show you exactly where that is. Also, we have a threat here in the northeast of seeing some thunderstorms, and that system stretches all the way back into Colorado. And that's probably the highlight of our weathercast here with Wyoming and Colorado seeing the snows there. Winter warnings are up, including Denver proper. And we could see up to 2 feet of snow in the higher country, but 4 to 8 inches, likely solid heavy wet snow along the I-25 corridor. So that's going to cause some issues. It won't stick around long, but tomorrow will be a mess. Tonight, a mess across parts of northeast Texas and through Little Rock, Memphis. 2 out of 5. Tomorrow, we start to increase those chances of severe weather from Austin all the way down to Atlanta, but a higher risk from Jackson, Mississippi, and through Tuscaloosa and Birmingham as well. Lesser on Thursday, and that rain will be getting across the Ohio River Valley and up here into the northeast. Will be a rainy day tomorrow, a far cry from what we've had today, which has been a beautiful afternoon here in Central Park. Tony?
Rob, thank you very much. We turn now to California and its battle with State Farm, the nation's largest home insurance company. California accuses it of delaying, denying, and underpaying claims after last year's wildfires. Our Carter Evans, who lives in one of those fire zones, has our update tonight.
More than a year after tens of thousands of homes burned to the ground, another nightmare. The California Department of Insurance says State Farm delayed, underpaid, and buried policyholders in red tape at the worst moment of their lives. About 30% of all of the insurance claims were with State Farm, including Sheena Fox.
I've been a State Farm customer for decades.
Have you ever made a claim before?
I haven't ever had to file a claim and never once thought that I would be in the situation I am in now.
She says State Farm initially offered about a third of her policy limit to rebuild everything.
The number one thing that I've learned is that you can't trust insurance companies to pay you out on a total loss.
It's an issue that impacts disaster victims from hurricanes to floods. Now in California, regulators are seeking millions in penalties and threatening to suspend State Farm's ability to write new policies.
No one knows this until they go through it.
State Farm maintains it's already paid nearly $6 billion in claims from the wildfires, and it calls California's action a reckless, politically motivated attack that could ultimately cripple California's insurance market.
If they can't write policies, are they going to insure us? We're thinking that this may be even a worse situation for us.
Fox finally got the full payout on her insurance yesterday. Meanwhile, she's been paying for a rental along with her mortgage and property tax on this empty lot. Tony?
All right, Carter, thank you very much. Still ahead on the broadcast, a retired soldier on the run from police, what he's accused of, and an explosion with a mushroom cloud and reports of windows shattering a mile away. What happened? In northern Tennessee tonight, a retired Special Forces soldier is accused of shooting his wife and then using his training to disappear into the woods. Our Nicole Valdez is in Nashville with the latest on the efforts to find him.
Tony, good evening. Craig Berry's been on the run for 5 days now, and authorities admit they have no idea if Berry, who they say is armed and has extensive training in survival tactics, is even still in the area. The Stewart County Sheriff's Office released these photos of Craig Berry. They say they believe he's carrying a gun, extra ammunition, and he's wearing camouflage clothes. Now, a nearby trail camera snapped this shot of a man they believe is Berry running through the woods, and they say they fear he may have outside help. Now, this video is from May 1st and shows Tennessee Highway Patrol troopers helping in the ground search through the woods of that northern Tennessee county for the accused shooter. Now the U.S. Marshals and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations are stepping up, adding more manpower to this search, but authorities admit arresting this trained military expert could be a lengthy process. Tony?
Nicole, thank you very much. Up next, a police chase that ends with a splash. In Spokane, Washington tonight, a 56-year-old woman is accused of trying to run down a boy on a dirt bike. Video from the incident last week shows the woman swerve in her car at the boy and then pursue him down the sidewalk without catching him. Not long after, she allegedly tried to enter a home of someone she doesn't know, and police arrested her there. She's been charged with attempted assault and with DUI. According to court documents, she also has a history of mental illness. Fireworks meant for a good time are still fundamentally dangerous and explosive devices, and here's a reminder. Video tonight of a fireworks factory in eastern China yesterday. People reported hearing a bang a mile away and seeing a mushroom cloud 300 feet in the air. At least 26 people were killed in that blast, dozens more injured. And a police chase in Michigan ended in the water. Dashcam video shows an assault suspect speeding through the Grand Rapids area. Officers in pursuit past a hotel, through a stop sign, and then flying into a pond. The driver jumped out and waded back to the cops. He'd had enough. He surrendered. You may recall doing the pull-ups and sit-ups required for the president's physical fitness test back in school. Well, it was phased out in 2013 for a less competitive program, and now President Trump has brought it back. A group of students tried out the exercises today at the White House. Up next, the good stuff, a teacher's dedication to her student.
This portion of the CBS Evening News is sponsored by Freshpet. Healthy food fresh from the fridge.
We're back with the good stuff on this National Teacher Appreciation Day with an example, if you need it, of how a good teacher can change everything. That's third grader Emberly Lau of Traverse City, Michigan, at her school talent show this spring. The speakers cut out in the middle of the dance, a loss of all of Emberly's work, if not for Miss Frank. Her old first grade teacher, Kirsten Frank, stepped up with her own a cappella version.
This girl is on fire. Oh, I don't remember all the words to this, but I know the beat.
No, the lyrics weren't all there, but the feeling was there, and Emberly's mother called it magical to watch her daughter finish the routine. We wanted to say thank you to Miss Frank ourselves, and also to ask her, where did that moment come from?
When I was their age, that was one of the biggest things to me in school, was that I knew that all of the adults, all of the teachers there, they cared about me and they loved me. And that's what made me feel like I could do whatever I wanted to do in my life.
National Teachers Day, as it was called, goes all the way back to Eleanor Roosevelt, who said teachers are the most important people in our communities next to parents. And not only for what they know, as Ms. Frank reminds us, but because of how much they care. So to all the teachers out there, from all of us here at CBS, thank you. That's another day in America. I'm Tony DeCopel. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Good night for now.